Aimpoint Hunts the Globe is produced by Aimpoint. Weaponized by Blaser. Fired by Norma Ammunition. Clothed and accessorized by 511. Silenced by Panther. And hosted by Hunt Essential.
In this edition of the Aimpoint Hunts the Globe series, former world strongman Magnus Samuelsson travels back to Africa to hunt some of the most sought-after game species on the planet. On this hunt, Magnus is joined by his brother, Torbjörn Samuelsson, and the hunt is hosted by Hunt Essential CEO Louis Bierkes. Professional hunter Leon Jacobs leads the hunt and Eric Jepson is on call as product specialist.
We are here in Africa again, doing a new episode of Aimpoint Hunts the Globe. And this episode we're going to utilize the clothing brand 511 Tactical. 511 specializes in clothing both commercial and professionals. The clothing line is very durable and tough, and they also have everything from the toes up to your head. The stitching on their clothing is very robust, so that means even the thorns, bushes and everything else will not go through the clothing at all, especially in this tough and hard environment that we are hunting in. We're going to use the 511 belt, which is a quick release belt that you can easily adapt when you're hunting. On that belt we have our magazine pouch, we have our medikit, we have our torch for after darkness, and also a knife when that is necessary to have. So this belt is very easy to take on and off, especially when you're getting out of vehicles, you come into a position where you want to have it off, and as that easy you adapt it to yourself. We're going to use the 3M Peltor hearing protection. These protection is active hearing protectors, and they do two things. They will protect your hearing when your shot is fired, but they will also increase your hearing while you're doing your stalks and everything else. I always wear my Peltors when I'm going hunting. We're going to use the Blaser R8 system during this hunt. We're going to use it in two different calibers. It's going to be the 7mm Blaser Magnum and the 375 Blaser Magnum with the Norma ammunition. The Blaser system is very modular, especially here when you go to Africa where you might want to have two different calibers like we do. You have it in one box and it's easy to travel with, and it's easy to change the different barrels in between your hunts. Aimpoint is the perfect sighting system for hunting in Africa. It is a system where you use two eyes open and you focus on the target. Instead of focusing on a small reticle or anything, you focus with two eyes open and you just follow that shot through. During this hunt we are also going to use two different sights. Magnus' favorite sight is the small new Aimpoint Micro H2. What we have done with the new H2 is to improve some of the features from the older generation. First of all, what you can see is the flip-up covers that we incorporated to the sight. They are see-through lens covers that you can use even when they're closed. We have improved the sight's robustness on the Micro H2 with these two protecting the top turret. So even if you get a bang into the sight, it will still be protected by these new knobs. Third thing that we have improved on this sight is the new optical transmission that you can't see, but it's going through the sight. That gives you much more clarity while looking through the sight. And Torbjörn Samuelsson's sight that he's going to utilize is the Aimpoint Hunter 34mm. It has a wider tube than normal, and it has push buttons to increase and decrease the intensity. Still a sight that you use two eyes open, focus on the target. The design of the Aimpoint sights are done out of a professional market aspect. They're very shock-proof, they're hard in their design, they're waterproof, and they can go on all climate zones, meaning 45 minus to the African summer heat, they will always function for you. When you buy an Aimpoint sight, you buy a high-quality parallax-free system. That means that you don't have to center the red dot in the sight itself. It could be up, it could be down, it could be the left or right. Wherever that dot is, you will hit the target.
After their arrival, the hunters go to the shooting range to sight their weapons before the start of the hunt.
Okay, Magnus, so you were a little bit high. It's very important when you go traveling with your weapons that you always test fire the sight, especially after a long journey. So Magnus, you were about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 clicks high. So you need to lower your sight by 10 clicks. With these Aimpoint targets, it's very easy. They're printable online for each of the models, and that helps you very easy to adjust your sight on 50 meters, for example. So now we're going to shoot another round, and now we should be in the center here on 50 meters, Magnus. All right, Magnus, perfect, dead center. Let's go hunting.
For the first part of the hunt, we travel to the Hunt Essential Botswana concession. This particular area is home to over 40 species of game that is of interest to the hunter and is located on the banks of the Limpopo River, the border between Botswana and southern Africa. It's early morning on the first day and the action starts just after sunrise. To maximize their chances, the group split up into two, with Louis Beekes and Magnus Samuelsson heading north and Torbjörn and Leon Jacobs heading south towards the banks of the Limpopo River.
I think this area I've always had some good success. There's a lot of blue wildebeest and impala in the area. So just make sure your rifle is ready and we'll get the shot hopefully quite soon. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Let's check everything is set.
Leon and Torbjörn made their way down to the Limpopo riverbank. It was mid-afternoon and the cool shade of the massive fig trees gave some relief from the scorching heat of the African sun.
It's coming. Take it, shoot. Well done! Save my friend. No, he's down.
Torbjörn's lightning-fast reaction time secured him a very special trophy, a bushbuck ram.
Torbjörn, this is an exceptional animal. There's not a lot of people who take these.
Okay.
So,
once
again, congratulations, my friend,
Thank
on
you
a
so
good
much.
shot,
Thank you so much.
on a very nice animal.
It was you who saw it first. Everything happened
But
really
it happened
fast.
so quick.
Yeah.
That's a nice trophy. It's an old boy. The tips are worn down. And once again, the Aimpoint performed as it
performs
should.
really well, and especially when it goes this fast. And this was quite short distance. It was about 30 meters.
Yeah, 30 meters.
With the wide angle on the Hunter, you can see more of it, so it was easy for me to pick it up. In the excitement, I actually missed the first shot, but I was quite fast on the second one. It was a nice hit, so,
Yeah.
so I'm super happy.
Once again, thank you very much, my friend. Good
Thank you.
shooting.
Okay, so that's the shot is right in the shoulder, which should be, and that just shows the efficiency of Aimpoint at moving targets.
As Magnus and Louis explore the top eastern side of the concession, they come across a huge set of eland tracks. The dung is still warm and Louis decides to track down whatever was making the impressive hoof prints in the sand. The herd was heading into deep cover and the dry bush slowed the hunters' progress down dramatically.
Magnus, this is really a big beast. I can see it from the moment we get off the truck, walking all the way here. You can see that this is a heavy beast. I think this is exactly what you're looking for. So just look out a little bit
things are clever. Okay, so let's just take our time.
A sudden movement in the bush no more than 25 meters in front of the hunters brings the stalk to an abrupt halt. It is common practice in Africa to fire a follow-up shot when necessary, and here Magnus immediately goes after the animal to make sure that it doesn't disappear into the dense bush.
Magnus, do you realize that this morning you killed, I would probably say, a Samuelsson size, biggest antelope in Africa? Cape Eland, fantastic trophy. Look at the size of the horns, the size of the body.
Yeah.
Probably the same size as a Cape buffalo. How does it feel, man?
It feels fantastic. Ever since the first time saw the eland, it was being a dream to hunt one. And when we, after tracking this one down and I could see the size of it, my heart almost stopped. It's an absolutely beautiful animal.
Well, if you think about it, we took the shot maybe 25 meters away from very thick bush, and we were going down on the hinges. The first thing I realized was how tall this thing was standing above us, right?
Yeah, the first impression was fantastic. It was a huge animal, and then I went down on my knees and trying to take a shot at it, and I was a bit scared first because there were so many bushes between me and the animals I could hardly see it. But thanks for the aim point, it's so easy, just both eyes and the whole impression that the whole head takes in with both eyes. I'll use that to find your target and shoot it. Woo! So this shot was made by the 375 Blaser Magnum, made of Norma Oryx. And the shot went through 3 different bushes before they hit the target on the exact spot where I was aiming. So you can easily see that this ammunition is made for African condition.
We've just taken this beautiful eland bull, and now we're going to show you out of the animal's perspective where we took the shot and why Aimpoint is so good to use since you're having the 2 eyes open. So we're now going to turn around and look and facing the shooter's perspective and walk this direction.
Shooting an eland is one thing, but recovering such an animal presents its own set of challenges.
I've read a lot about this animal, and I've seen so many pictures and also seen small ones in live, but when you get close to really big eland, you're going to get impressed.
It's one thing to shoot an eland, stalking it and all that, but once it collapses, you actually realize you just dropped something in the vicinity of 1,600 pounds or 800 to 900 kilograms. So that's exactly what we're facing here. It takes a 4.5 ton winch to drag it up, and Bob's your uncle. There we go.
With the midday sun at its zenith, the 2 parties meet under a huge baobab tree for lunch. Cold drinks are at the order of the day, and the brothers Samuelsson share the morning's experience. 2 hours later, the wheels are turning and the hunters travel to a previously unexplored part of the concession. Leon and Torbjörn was determined to make full use of the rest of the day and headed in a westerly direction. 30 minutes later, a movement directly to their left-hand side presents an opportunity for Torbjörn's first warthog.
It's done. Let's go and have a look. Torbjörn, this is a African warthog, or you called them earlier Timon from Timon and Pumbaa.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've shot your first warthog. The shot placement once again was perfect, and a quick shot. The Aimpoint did its job once again. But congratulations on a good hunt and a quick hunt.
So this is my first warthog here in Africa, and I hunt a lot of wild boars back home in Sweden, and it's a whole different ball game here. It's if you compare it with back home, it's much thicker forest, and you don't walk them up so much. Here it's more like when we hunt rabbits back home in the fields. You don't see them because of the grass, and when all of a sudden they just pop up, and then you have to be really fast. And then it's really good to have a site like Aimpoint. It works really fast.
Magnus and Louis passes a female oryx, but decides that only a mature bull would be acceptable. Shortly thereafter, a new species crosses their path. The thick brush forces Magnus to wait for the animal to cross a small opening before taking the shot.
What a bang! Bam! Oh, my gosh! Well
Finally!
there you go.
Yeah, nice
Very
one.
nice Impala. Congratulations. Yeah, good shot by the way. Okay, Magnus, there we go. Your first Impala for Africa. And perfect wind. A little bit of patience, right? And good shooting, by the way.
Thank you. That felt really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, look, that thing dropped like a bag of potatoes from 10 yards up. Nice lonesome bachelor by itself, and that's the type of animals that we like to take. Once again, very shrubby, you know, would have been impeded with if you were using normal sight. In this case, the Aimpoint again paying off its value.
Yeah, it makes all the difference. It keeps away all the other things around it. Just put both eyes on the target and lift up the rifle, and all of a sudden you're going to see a red dot. Place the red dot where you want the hole to be and pull the trigger.
And there's the result.
That's the result.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Late afternoon, and with the sun indicating the end of the first day, Leon and Torbjörn start their journey back to the rendezvous point. A lone anteater is the only animal en route, and with the moon rising and the night fast approaching, they still have a couple of kilometers to cover. Everyone was thinking that this day was over, but an unexpected opportunity presented itself that could not be passed up.
So the day is almost over, and when we were making our way back to the vehicle, we saw the waterbuck and tried to go after it in a hurry. And we got up a quick shot. We got a good opportunity in the beginning, and it took off, and we found it now, and everything. The shot is where it should be, and the animal is really nice, and the experience was beautiful, so couldn't be happier.
Congrats, my friend. Good shooting and quick shooting.
So as you can see, it's almost turning to dark. You can see the full moon is up, so it's gonna be a beautiful night. And as I said, we saw this beautiful waterbuck. We were almost leaving the hunt today, heading for the car. But we gave it a quick try, and we had a nice opportunity. It was at a further distance, but If you just make the point in the aim point small, you can shoot really well in further distances also. So the shot went well, and we have a nice water buck here, so really happy.
It was a weary group of hunters and crew that returned to the lodge at the end of the first day. Both Magnus and Torbjörn added some new species to their list and wondered what the next day would bring. Aimpoint claims that the new H2 is virtually indestructible. We decided to put that statement to the test. The Aimpoint is placed on solid concrete and driven over by a 1,500 kilogram vehicle, twice. For the second test, we submerged the unit in water, and after 24 hours, yet again the red dot can be seen shining underwater. A 3-story drop onto solid concrete. Surely nothing can survive that. After being submerged for 24 hours, the unit is placed in a freezer at minus 24 degrees Celsius. 24 hours later, it is frozen solid in a block of ice. And yet again, the Aimpoint is still working flawlessly. After submitting the Aimpoint H2 unit to these 4 severe tests, the result is obvious. It is sure to stand up to any challenge.
Morning, Magnus.
Morning.
Ready for the day?
More than ready.
Yeah, today we're doing a little bit of a different environment. Yesterday, as you saw, quite thick bush, going for wildebeest and zebra. Today we're gonna do like a riverine area called the Mwapa Creek, which basically runs through the property west to east, joins the Limpopo River that ultimately run into the Indian Ocean. Different species today. I think you can find bushbuck, eland, gemsbuck, a lot of impala you'll see, and obviously the 1 or 2 warthog that will, while you're deep in thought, will get flushed and scare you out of your skin type of thing. Are you ready for it?
I'm looking forward to it.
Excellent.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Hold on.
So we're here this morning, second day of the hunt. We're going to a new area where we're going to have a little bit more of an open terrain, and that's where the Aimpoint also fits perfectly. The shot's going to be around 50 to 80 meters we're expecting, could even be longer. But with the 2 eyes open, you can still see the animal very clearly, since we are the spotters for this, and that's going to be a good day for a new scenery.
This small group of female impala was of no interest to Magnus, and they pressed on in the direction of Mwapa Creek.
Ah, there you go, Magnus. Well
There you
done. At last, one of the menu members ticked off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it standing in there for quite some time. I was afraid it's going to change direction, but gladly it came out and I find a gap to shoot it in.
Yeah, look, and once again, you know, different colors of animals we've seen. You know, the blue wildebeest, the pigs, the gemsbuck with the very dominant white and black faces. All in all, they all fit in somehow, you know.
Yeah. You can almost walk up to them and still miss them.
Yeah, well, thank you to Mr. Pig for allowing us this opportunity to hunt with him.
Well, you're the guy tracking it down, so thank you.
Well, good. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's what makes you rush off to the hospital.
Magnus's warthog added yet another species to the list, but 5 kilometers away, Torbjörn was not to be outdone by his older brother. A large impala ram amidst a herd of ewes presented Torbjörn with a perfect opportunity. The animals were skittish, and with so many eyes and ears, it took all of Leon's skill and experience to get Torbjörn into position.
Good shooting, my friend. Excellent shot and a very nice animal.
Yeah, perfect.
We started the day on a good way.
Yeah.
It's a perfect shot. And it's a lovely impala. This is a nice impala. It's an old male. The tips already starting to open up. He's had a good life. And my friend, once again, a very good shot.
Thank you. Happy.
Yeah, we're racking and stacking, Papa.
Yeah, I think the day is going to get better. It started off perfectly and we have a steady wind today, and this is early in the morning, so they have a low sun and the wind is going against the sun, so for us it's perfect just to stroll about and see what we can see, and it's a beautiful day in Africa. And I know that my brother is hunting on the other side of the hill here, so I know that he heard the shot, and now I'm just waiting to hear him do something over there, so I just wish that he has a same exciting morning as I had.
The sound of Torbjörn's impala kill traveled to where Magnus was hunting, but they would see no action for the next 3 hours.
Magnus, as soon as the pig runs, you should take your shot, take your shot, take your shot. Yeah, that is the duck. That's what we want. No more walking, no more looking. There we go. What do you think? Faster or slower than a European boar?
It was pretty quick and it came from nowhere. I'm really happy about this, really happy.
An excellent shooter, once
Thank
again.
you, sir. This is why I love Aimpoint. You're never naked. You know, you can, like you've seen before, most of the shots have been through really tight bushes and stuff, and all of a sudden we have a fast animal coming in a really tight opening, and we can do a good shot on that as well. And you maybe know that maybe next shot will be made on 200 meters. Doesn't really matter. This little thing can do everything.
Yeah, Magnus, and I think the other contribution of the product is from the moment we spotted the pig until you basically took your shot, I would probably say it was 5 seconds all in all.
Yeah.
You know, and and the pig was running probably at 35 kilometers an hour when you took the shot. So, and your gap from distance to impact, 40 meters, and you had maybe a 3 meter gap between the bushes. Yeah, not a lot of sites that will allow you that type of performance, right?
No, this is a unique thing, Aimpoint. I really love it. And then maybe this is what it's mostly designed for. But then on top of that, you have all the other things that just work as well. Situations like this is why we carry the pelt or air muffs. Because you never know when the opportunity to take a shot comes. well, if you crawl up to an animal, then you pretty much know, so that you can put on regular earmuffs. But if something just pops out of the nowhere and you have to go, this has a device in them, so it will cut off the sound when that reaches over a certain decibel. And you can switch it on and off here, and you can put the silence off or down depending on what you're hunting. So for instance, if you're hunting an animal like a bird or something, you can use this to your advantage, because if you put the silence higher than it actually is, then all the small sounds become higher for you to hear. So many times I actually use this for hearing the animal earlier than I would have done without them. And maybe one shot is not so bad for the hearing, but if you do it over and over again, you're going to end up with a hearing problem, and it's so easy to take that problem away. Just buy this Peltor earmuffs and you're right.
But if you don't put in the miles, you're not going to see.
It's midday and it's time to recuperate back at the lodge. After lunch, the group took some time to soak up the midday sun, but there was to be no rest for the weary before the afternoon session started. Anticipation was in the air as the cruisers sped towards the hunting grounds. Only moments after stepping into the bush, Leon notices an impala and blue wildebeest herd in the thicket. Torbjörn was after a mature blue wildebeest bull, but an odd-looking impala ram drew Leon's attention away from the wildebeest.
But yeah, good shot.
Thank you.
Dropped on the spot. That's an old boy.
Huh?
That's an old boy.
Yeah.
So this has been a... Yeah, your shooting is on the spot. And this thing's been around the block, not once. Been working.
I actually think these kinds of trophies are nice because this one has history.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at the ears, you never know. It could have been anything, leopard, anything taking the ear and the horn. It's an old fighter. But a good shot, my friend, once again.
Thank you.
The reason why I decided on taking it, in breeding season, normally if the rams, when they've got both their horns, they will lock their horns in and they will fight this way. With him only having one horn, they cannot lock in the horns. So he will actually, it's easier for him to kill his opponent, whereas normally they will fight and just by pure strength they will decide who's the winner. This one with only one horn can easily penetrate the one's defenses and they kill them. So taking a one-horned male does the rest of the population some help. And secondly, this is just an old boy. As you can see on his ears, he's been fighting and he's been around the block. So he's had his days. It's a good animal to take and it was an excellent shot.
Thank you.
There's another thing I wanted to show you. Like a lot of European animals, if it lifts the tail, there's white. Now this is more or less, we like to call it a follow me sign. If there's danger, you'll always see impala pick up their tails and run. And this white then indicates to the animal behind it where to run. So it follows the white. The young, especially on the females, they will look at the white of the tails and they will follow their mothers accordingly. So when there's danger, they'll pick up their tails and run. And then secondly, but lastly, these are the scent glands, which they use. Impalas are some of the few animals who've actually got these glands. and they use this on their dung middens to demarcate. They are quite territorial, so they will stay in one area, and they produce a scent which is unique to each animal. So if another male comes around and he smells this one, then he knows.
Also used as a marker.
Yeah, so they use it
to
scare the other ones away, because everyone smells its own scent. It doesn't, not one of them smell the same. So that's a few interesting facts, because not a lot of animals have got these clearly visible scent marks like the impala have. So yeah, it's just we take good animals, and then it's fun to learn a few extra things about it, because you don't get this back home. So
we have very few of these back in Sweden.
Yeah, definitely. You've got them on the wall.
Yeah.
The sun was slowly creeping towards the horizon, and there was a sense of urgency in the group as they approached the final hours of the Botswana hunt.
The whole day we've been looking for this guy. So how does that all come together?
It feels fantastic. We had almost like a 20-kilometer walk first, and well, I was, to be honest, I gave up. I was just, and then I looked up and
Burning feet.
we saw it.
Yeah, and really, let me tell you, really fantastic trophy.
Yeah.
I think this is what makes Tuli Block in particular, trophy hunting in Botswana, this part of the Limpopo River, so fantastic. And once again, Aimpoint.
Aimpoint, yeah. We walk in these bushes, and once in a while we shoot a warthog, and next time on distance we shoot kudu. It works for everything.
My friend, let me tell you, fantastic Samuelsson eland, and now a fantastic Samuelsson kudu. Congratulations,
Thank you so
excellently
much.
done. Beautiful species.
Oh,
Welcome to Africa.
this,
All right.
This area. So now, after all the photos have been taken and they are back loading up my trophy on the Land Cruiser over there, I went back to the position where I made the shot. This is exactly the position where I was laying. And just to put in perspective, it's 125 meters to that spot, and I shot it between those trees. And just look at the Land Cruiser, how hard it is to see it from this distance. And that's why it's so important to have things you can rely on. Aimpoint, Blaser, Norma, works every time.
Leon Jacobs was determined to give Torbjörn one last shot before the end of the hunt. He glassed the bush thoroughly, identifying every movement before moving on to the next. Leon's persistence was rewarded when he spotted a bachelor herd of blue wildebeest. The shot rang true, and the bull bucked upon impact. The wildebeest are notoriously tough animals, and although being mortally wounded, the animal still went about 300 meters before expiring.
There you go, my friend. This is a nice wildebeest.
Thank you, my friend. Thank
This
you.
is a big boy. Flapper now. Check that set of horns. And that's a decent wildebeest, man. Great shooting, great shooting.
Thank you, man.
And he's an old boy.
Yeah.
Shot went perfect, double long shot. He didn't go far.
So what do you think about age? How old do you think he is?
Age, this bull he's got, let's check the teeth. The teeth are gonna tell us a lot more than we can guess. As you can see, there's no teeth left. This beast doesn't have long to live anymore. He's past his prime, maybe 10, going on 11 years. He's an old boy. The shot once again on the money.
Yeah, it's been a great day.
We've been busy.
Yeah, we've
and
been
I must
busy.
say, looking at my clothes, these 511s hold up to the fawns, because all our other hunting clothes, the fawns tear them to pieces. These ones seem to be keeping up quite well.
Yeah, I also think, and also, I mean, we're having these clothes now for many days, and still no scratches, and I mean, practically all the bushes have thorns, so thumbs up for that.
Yep, definitely.
So this has been a long day, and this is my first blue wildebeest, and I'm super happy about it. It's an old bull. It's a really old one we saw. As you shown, the teeth is really worn down. So starting off this day, we walked, I think, almost 20 kilometers. We saw animals a lot of times, but the wind has been playing games with us today. So we walked far this morning. And the second half of the day also was a lot of walking in same wind conditions. But now closing into the evening, we saw this group of blue wildebeest, and luckily enough, we got off a good shot at an old nice bull.
The setting sun indicated the end of the Botswana hunt, and the realization of a dream for both the Samuelsson brothers, an experience etched in their minds for the rest of their lives.
The unique part about an Aimpoint system is the red dot that you have inside. And what makes it unique is that you don't have to center the red dot in the system. A lot of other manufacturers, where you don't have the same construction, you need to center the red dot in the sight to be able to take a shot. If that red dot is off a little bit, that means that you will miss a target, and you would not like to do that, especially on a buffalo hunt. Aimpoint standard is that you can have the dot high, low, left or right. The main goal for you as a hunter is that you focus on your target instead of your reticle. So the focus should be on the game, and you just place that red dot on the game. And you always use your two eyes open. That gives you the much wider view of the situation.
Luckily, there was one more task for the brothers to complete before returning back to Sweden. An appointment with Africa's Black Death, the Cape buffalo. The next day, the group departs for the Elephants River, a hunting ground that lies within the Greater Kruger area. It's a place where the Big Five still roams freely, with elephant, lion, hippo, leopard and buffalo still coexisting as they have done for thousands of years.
This is my first buffalo hunt, and I heard so much about it. About excitement, about expectations and everything, so it spins a bit in the head now, and what's going to happen and how you're going to deal with it yourself. But I feel quite calm and just actually really happy to have the opportunity of doing it, and just looking forward to it. And one thing, especially when you're hunting dangerous game, or it can be dangerous game, is that you really have to trust everything from the gear you're wearing, your hearing aid, the sights, the gun, the ammo, so you take all possibilities away of getting wrong. And then of course, shooting wise, it's very important that the first shot is a very good shot. Otherwise, if you wound an animal like this, then the dangerous part starts. If you have a good shot, the first shot is a good shot, then it should be actually no harder than shooting anything else. But if that shot not is a good shot, then you have problems. The Botswana tour has really helped, because now you're used to the, not totally used, but you're quite used to the environment, the heat, and now it's easier to spot things. In the beginning it's hard when everything looks different than back home, to see the animals quickly and know how to act. So of course it's the the week in Botswana was really taught me much.
A high rocky outcrop gives Leon the perfect vantage point from which to glass the area, and it did not take long before a group of huge black bodies appeared about a kilometer away. Cape buffalo are notorious for protecting their own, and serious injury and even death is a reality that is constantly on the hunter's mind. With several buffalo herds in the direct vicinity of the hunters, they had to take great care to avoid detection. Moving around the herds proved to be a challenging affair, with dried twigs and leaves constantly threatening to give away the hunter's position. The bull's front quarters were barely visible through the thick bush, and Torbjörn only had a small exposed area to send the 375 Blazer Magnum home.
Hey! Hey! There you go, thank you. Good. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Now he's finished. The danger of shooting buff in herds is if after the first shot you've not clearly identified your target, you might end up shooting another buffalo inadvertently, and that you would not want to do. Luckily this buffalo stood out from the herd. We clearly identified it and took the shots as necessary, and he's down. Well done, my friend.
Thank you,
well
thank
done.
you. It's going to be a memory for a lifetime. It was excitement. It's hard to know what to expect when you never have done it before. Both the excitement of a new animal, and also what I've heard, it can be dangerous if it's wounded and everything. We have to crawl on our knees for, I would guess, 150 meters to get inside. And when we saw them, we saw a nice bull, and took the shot, and it looked good. It lifted up its leg, and then we just, with Leon's help, it just went down perfectly.
No, he's an old boy. You see, there's no more. If you look in here, he wanted to close, and he's closed up solid here. No more hairs in the middle. He's a lovely animal.
I hope my brother finds has the same experience and everything, because just as I said, when you never have done it before, it's a new thing, and excitement-wise, I think it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat, and it's a lovely animal, and it's like we have done before. It's an old animal. It was good to take from the herd, and couldn't be happier.
It's early morning, second day of the buffalo hunt. Big day today, I hope. I have a really nice feeling about it, so let's go out and see what we can do.
Fresh tracks indicated the direction in which the herd was heading, and Louis and Magnus headed off in hot pursuit. The first visual of the herd only happened 3 hours later, when the tracker Shadrach spotted a group of 9 bachelor bulls in the thicket about 300 meters away. The wind was playing along perfectly, and the animals were oblivious to the hunter's presence. The dense bush made getting a clean shot almost impossible, but a small opportunity did present itself a while later. A loud thud indicated a solid hit, but the animal turned away and disappeared into the bush. Very few buffalo are killed with the first shot. and many hunters are injured or even killed when a wounded animal retaliates.
You shot for the one that was right open, right?
Yeah,
On the shoulder.
On the shoulder, you saw it, huh? Just squeezed, aimed low at the shoulder blade, and just squeezed till it fired.
1/3.
After waiting for a couple of minutes, they start to track the animal through the thick vegetation.
Okay, you can see the tracks are getting deeper and deeper. Be alert. I think this thing is just around the corner from here. It's not called Black Death for nothing. So let's just take our time, okay? Let's go.
This time, it's buffalo hunting veteran Louis Bekers that spot the animal first. The buffalo bull is facing the hunters directly, and its body language and the way that it's reacting is indicating that a charge is imminent. Magnus gets into position and acquires the animal through the aim point, knowing that his actions in the next few seconds could literally mean the difference between life and death.
Took him in the head or? Yes.
Ja, het is allemaal toch. Die kom niet aan. Ja. Hey!
Oh,
Excellent! Yeah, well, it started to softer, harder, and now we can call it a proper Magnus Samuelsson hunt. What do you think?
The buffalo hunt, it's hard to describe for somebody who never done it, but it's nothing like it.
Yeah,
They are the toughest animal first of all to detect, and then they would just refuse to go down.
I must tell you guys that what a relief. What a relief. And what a hunt. Magnus, congratulations.
Thank you. And, like always, I'm not going to find anything without you. I'm not going to shoot anything without you. So I'm really, it's always a pleasure to go out hunting with you, Louis.
That's it. What a pleasure, man. And thank you very much. You're much bigger than me. You could tell me what to do, but you don't. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Well, I'm here. I just do everything you say.
And so ends another edition of the Aimpoint Hunts the Globe series. Join us again next time for another adventure. Aimpoint would like to thank the following partners for making this production possible. Hunt Essential, through its wide variety of destinations, will ensure you experience an unforgettable hunting safari. Be it in South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Mozambique or Namibia. Whether you are interested in the Big Five or in plains game hunting, fly fishing or game fishing, we have the experience and infrastructure to ensure your African safari is an unforgettable one.
Good morning. My name is Louis Bekers, owner and CEO of Hunt Essential. We are currently at the property of Hunt Essential Wakkerstroom, southeastern Mpumalanga, South Africa. Hunt Essential is one of the typical modern hunting companies, I would like to believe, whereby massive emphasis, and if not the only emphasis, is put on a sustainable extrapolation of wildlife resources, which is managed under controlled circumstances.
Just 3 hours drive from Johannesburg, at the foothills of the Drakensberg Mountains in the Mpumalanga province, lies Wakkerstroom. The area is truly unique for an array of reasons and mainly associated to wildlife. The Hunt Essential Wakkerstroom property is 14,500 hectares in extent and has hundreds of valleys filled with natural bush and vegetation that includes rare species like the yellow wood tree. The property has 32 species of animals, and with its 16 trout-filled lakes, it provides a diversity of activities for the outdoor enthusiast. It has more than 150 natural springs and 7 waterfalls, and the average rainfall in this area is about 2,000 millimeters per annum.
We don't shoot our animals randomly. We don't kill female animals, for example. Our business was all about extrapolating the top 2 to 5% old male animal, which in most cases has become redundant. In order to achieve that is literally the famous pyramid effect. You need a massive base. In our case here at Wakkerstroom and in Botswana, we combined have close to 10,000 animals. At most, maybe 300 to 350 animals will be extrapolated.
The property is also the origin of both the Tugela and the Pongola rivers, which in return leads to one of South Africa's few wetland areas. Due to this unique environment, you find the highest concentration of birdlife species in South Africa.
One of the most famous South Africans, Dr. Anton Rupert, once said that the moment you take value away from conservation, conservation will stay nothing else than conversation. Here at Hunt Essential, we like to believe that we would like to stay away from conversation and rather indulge in value conservation, whereby we extrapolate wildlife under sustainable conditions in the action of hunting.
Tuli is an 18,000 hectare privately owned hunting area in the southeast of Botswana. It borders the Limpopo River to the south and is a typical large tree bushveld environment. Dinner is enjoyed on our large outdoor veranda overlooking the watering hole. There are over 30 species of game that are of interest to the hunter, and various trophy animals are on offer. Hunt Essential offers a truly unique African experience. Contact us today for the adventure of a lifetime.